Systems, writing equations, notes. Okay. A system of equations is a collection of two or more equations with a same set of unknowns. In solving a system of equations, we try to find values for each of the unknowns that will satisfy every equation in the system. When given a word problem, we need to write the, and here's where it comes in, we need to write the two equations, so it's going to be two, hence it's a system, that need to be solved in order to find the solution to the system. When writing systems of equations, it is important to determine or define the variables. So what I often do to define them is, I will show you guys in the thing, I kind of start to label it, but I'm going to go through this pretty detailed with y'all, so bear with me, you might need to pause, and I do find it easy to color coordinate sometimes. Question 1. A college student is planning her semester in order to complete her degree. The college offers both 4-credit classes and 3-credit classes. Define the variables for the number of 4-credit classes and 3-credit classes. Then write an expression for the total number of classes. So one of the things that I found most helpful is to use X and Y when at all possible. So my first variable is going to be X. My second one's going to be Y. And let's talk about the two things we have. We have a 4-credit class and a 3-credit class. So there's our variables, X and Y. And I'm just putting them in order because that's the order they are in the problem. So X would be the number of 4-credit classes, and Y would be the number of 3-credit classes. And notice I also labeled them in the question. So our expression would be, for the number of classes, would be X plus Y. That's going to tell you how many classes they're taking in total. So then we have something a little bit different down here, and it asks for the expression. So right here, write an expression for the total number of hours. So the total number of hours. So number of hours is basically the value of the classes, and that's where the 4 and 3 are going to come in. Each X is worth 4. Each Y is worth 3. So there are your two things. So then it comes down and it reads us the rest of the problem. It says, she needs 11 classes that are worth a total of 40 credits. So the 11 classes are your total number of classes, and that's going to be this first one right here. See that? So my X plus Y is going to equal 11. Then we've got to deal with the value of those classes. So that's where your 4X plus your 3Y is going to come in for the value, the total of 40 hours. So what you're looking at here is you're just writing the equations right now. So you're generally going to have one that's a total number of them, and then something dealing with the value. So number 2, we get all that color off. A new spiral notebook contains 30 more sheets of paper than a new memo book. Okay, so, all right. The total number of sheets of paper in 3 new spiral notebooks and 5 new memo books is 810. Write a system of equations that can be used to find S, the number of sheets of paper in 1 new spiral notebook, and M, the number of sheets of paper in 1 new memo book. So this one gives us the two variables. One variable is S, and one variable is M. So my S is right here. That's the number in a new spiral. So S would be the number of sheets in the spiral. And M would be the number of sheets in the memo. And you could name those X and Y if you wanted to. I just recommend you list it in the problem. So then it's dealing with the value of it. So this is where this one gets a little bit different. So we have to look at this whole thing. The spiral contains 30 more sheets than the memo book. Okay? For a total of 810. Okay, and we're dealing with 3 new spiral notebooks, and 5 new memo books. So there's actually your values right there. I kind of stated that wrong. So I know 3 spirals plus 5 memos is 810 sheets, because S represents the number of sheets in a spiral. This is going to be its own problem right here. So a new spiral, so a spiral contains 30 more sheets. 30 more sheets is plus 30 than a memo book. So these can be kind of difficult. Luckily, you're just going to have to identify them, but it is something that you need to look into. Okay, you will just be asked to, on this assignment, identify the questions from multiple choice. Question number 3. A drummer and guitarist each wrote songs for their band. The guitarist wrote 8 fewer than twice the number of songs that the drummer wrote. They wrote a total of 46 songs. Write a system of equations that models this situation if the drummer wrote D songs and the guitarist wrote G songs. So D songs and G songs. So D is the number of songs the drummer wrote. So I'm just going to put the number of the drum songs just to save writing. Okay. So then variable 2 is G, which is the number of guitar songs. Okay. So then it says the guitarist wrote, here's our problem. The guitarist wrote 8 fewer than twice the number of songs that the drummer wrote. So the guitarist wrote, so who wrote more is what I like to ask here. We're not sure right here, but we know that we're talking about the guitarist wrote 8 fewer. So that's minus 8, then twice the number that the drummer wrote. So that's a pretty tough question right there. And we notice that together they wrote 46 songs. So there is the value, x plus y. Oops, I just used my x plus y. Just always have it. We go back to it, and I'm not going to ever count off if y'all do. The D plus G equals 46. And then again, it would be okay if you wanted to make D the x and G the y. You just need to make sure you write it down or you label it in the problem. Number 4, a bag contains 18 coins consisting of quarters and dimes. So a total of 18 coins consisting of quarters and dimes. Okay. The total value, so there's that word right there, the value is 285. Write a system of equations that can be used to determine the number of quarters Q and the number of dimes D. So we need to talk about the value of the quarters and the dimes. The value of each quarter is 25 cents, and you write that as 0.25. The value of each dime is 10 cents, and you write that as 0.10. So let's do our value first. When we sit down and we count out money, we count it out as quarters. 25 cents, we put them together as $1. So Q is the, forgot that part, number of quarters. And D is the number of dimes. So Q is 0.25 for each Q. So 25 cents for each quarter plus 10 cents for each dime equals a total of $2.85. So your money value, money value, money value all go together. The next problem is the number of dimes plus quarters equaled 18 coins. And that was right here in this problem. So we had 18 coins that totaled that. We're not getting to solving today. We're just worried about writing it today. So kind of said that one a little backwards. Sorry about that. All right. There are 9 books stacked on a shelf. The thickness of each book is either 1 inch or 2 inch. So I know I have 9 books. Okay, and they are either 1 inch or 2 inch. The height of the stack of books, of 9 books, so the total of 9 books is 14 inches. There's that value. Write a system of equations that can be used to determine X, the number of 1 inch thick books, and Y, the number of 2 inch thick books. So this flat out tells us what each one is. X is the number of 1 inch books. and Y is the number of 2-inch books. Okay. And then we're going to go write our equations. We know that we have 9 total books, so the number of 1-inch books plus the number of 2-inch books equals 9. Then we're going to talk about the value. The 1-inch times the number of its books plus the 2-inch times the number of its books equals 14. So there's your value of it, value of it, value of it. And our last problem. The owner of a clothing store buys t-shirts for C dollars and sells them for P dollars each. This is a tough problem. Last month, she bought 600 t-shirts and sold 500 of them and made a profit of $2,800. This month, she bought 400 t-shirts and sold them all and made a profit of $2,400. Write a system of equations that can be used to determine the values of C and P. So let's name our values for C and P. C is the cost of the shirts, so the cost to buy them. And P is the price she sells them for. Okay, so we know that the cost is, let's see, she bought 600 t-shirts and sold 500. So when we sell something, it's going to be minus. So we actually don't know what the cost is. That's what we're looking for right here. So 600, right? She had 600, let's see. Oh, I actually said that wrong. Okay. The cost is the subtraction. That's the money you have to put into it. So she minus 600 for the cost, and she sold 500. So this is actually going to be her profit, and that is going to equal $2,800. So the amount she sold them for minus the cost gave her a $2,800 profit. So we're going to do the same over here. Okay, so this one's both 400. 400, the price she times the price she sold them for, whatever that was, minus 400 times the cost she bought them for, equaled a profit of $2,400. So what we would end up doing then is going to sell them. So this one is actually 2 separate problems. It's last month and then it's this month. So this one's set up a little bit different, okay? We don't see these problems as much, but I think it does important to note them.